Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the scorecards by way of Caesar's Palace. Here is the Budweiser scorecards. Chuck Jappa scores the bout 115 to 111. Jerry Roth has it 116 to 110. And Dalby Shirley scores it 116 to 110 for the winner by unanimous decision. And new featherweight champion of the world, the Golden Boy, Oscar de la Hoya.
So De La Hoya gets a unanimous decision by scores that might have been, for many, unexpectedly wide. Certainly unexpectedly wide for Harold Letterman, our score. How'd you have it after 12, Harold?
Jim, 7 rounds to 5, 114, 112, Oscar De La Hoya. In my mind, there was no question he won it. He won that 12th round big to pull it out, but a little bit closer than the judges had it.
That's the way we saw it 1 week ago in Las Vegas. And to most ringside observers, Harold Letterman's scorecard with a 2-point final margin rang much truer than the cards of the 3 Nevada judges who so decisively chose De La Hoya as the winner. Let's take a look at how their scores broke down. In the first 5 rounds of the fight, a relatively even distribution. 15 total scoring chances. 9 to De La Hoya, 5 to Whitaker, 1 round even on one judge's scorecard. But in the final 7 rounds of the fight, a virtual De La Hoya landslide. Except for Whitaker's 10-8 scores on all 3 cards in the 9th when he knocked De La Hoya down, he won only 1 round on one judge's scorecard. The ultimate distribution there, 21 scoring chances, 17 for De La Hoya, only 4 for Whitaker. Noteworthily, Whitaker bloodied De La Hoya's nose in the 11th round, but yet De La Hoya was given the round on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecards. Larry, what's your take on the scoring in this extremely difficult fight to judge?
Extremely, very. First, anyone who scored this fight within a couple of points on either side was right and was wrong, however you happen to view the fight. Secondly, those judges, had they been in Augusta, Georgia, rather than in Las Vegas last weekend, would have announced that Tiger Woods won that tournament not by just 12 strokes, but by about 53 strokes. And finally, if Pernell Whitaker didn't win that first round from all of the 3 judges, or later the 11th round, then I think we know that going into the fight, for whatever reasons, reasons of style, reasons of glamour, he had to win that fight by a knockout to win.
The 12th round, a moot point on all 3 officials' cards, but nevertheless interesting in retrospect because Whitaker went out and gave the round away, didn't fight. Yet, most writers at ringside, by a small margin, seemed to believe that Whitaker had won. And you have to believe if he went out and claimed the 12th round and fought, that small majority of writers who thought he won might be a landslide.
It probably would have been, and that would have put more pressure on the promoter and on Oscar to make the rematch.
Well, if there is a rematch, it'll be interesting to see if the CompuBox statistical numbers will be different. Let's take a look at how they looked in the fight. Total number of punches thrown, you can see that Whitaker threw more, landed more, and landed at a higher percentage. The contrast particularly shows up in the category of jabs, where Whitaker landed almost 4 times as many jabs as De La Hoya, threw twice as many, and landed at nearly twice as high a percentage. But obviously, this is where the Nevada judges found the critical difference in the fight, as they saw the power punch category heavily in De La Hoya's favor. He threw nearly twice as many power punches as Whitaker, mostly right-hand leads and uppercuts, and landed twice as many power blows. We're joined now in our New York studio by both of the fighters who've been gracious enough to come in and discuss what happened in those 12 rounds. Welcome, Oscar. Welcome, Pernell.
Thank you, Tim.
Oscar, there was a quote that appeared from you several days before the fight in USA Today, which now may bear some relationship to what happened. And I'll give you the quote. When you said, "I think it's possible that I would hold sway with the judges not on fistic merit. Unfortunately, that's boxing. It's all politics. It's about money. What the WBC sees is that I'm a young fighter. If I win the title, I will make more money than Whitaker or anybody else. Accurate quote?
Well, not accurate quote, but it's basically true. I mean, boxing is influenced by different things other than great fighters and good performances and other things. So, I mean, every sport is like that, not just boxing, but every sport in general.
So in retrospect, do you think the judges on this night may have given you the benefit of the doubt because of those urges?
No, it was because of my performance.
Then how do you square the fact that so many people in the arena thought it was a close fight and the judges saw it as a one-sided fight?
Well, the judges saw me that I was pressuring and landing more of the hard punches. Of course, Whitaker was throwing punches from different angles and landing a lot of those punches and going back doing it, which is very difficult, which I give him a lot of credit doing. But the judges didn't see that he was doing, was landing enough punches that were effective. A fight is where two fighters are going at it and see who wins, you know, and that's the way the judges were seeing this fight. They didn't want to see someone going back and landing effective blows.
How do you respond to that, Pernell?
I disagree wholeheartedly because in the fight, it's who's in control. It's the man who comes out, sets the tempo of the fight, and controls it. And that's what I done from the opening bell, which was to control the fight. Now, obviously, watching the fight, if you watch the tape again, both men had movement going back. If I'm not mistaken, he had movement going back. I had to chase him, literally.
On some occasions.
On some occasions.
Your style is to go back more than his.
But that's my style, but I also go forward. And in this fight, I also moved forward because I controlled him during the whole fight, which I thought I won easily. If not, you know, close enough to at least have a draw and not lose my title.
Pernell, your camp had asked before the fight that Nevada judges be used instead of international WBC judges, and there's a long history of Nevada judges favoring aggressive fighters who go forward.
Well, Jim, I also disagree with that also because to me, obviously, I just let the fans judge Pernell Whitaker, you know, and not try to lend too much on the side of the judges.
But you have to deal with them, Pernell. That's the reality.
That's obviously true, but in reality also, I have no control on how they're going to write on that with that pencil on that piece of paper. Mm-hmm. And you know, but as long as I have the viewing audience and the people who understands boxing and watches boxing and knows their boxing, they're gonna suggestively choose the man who they think won the fight. And if there's any fan, and if you have a toll or 1-800 that the people can call in, I'm sure they would tell you who won the fight.
Well, the people in the arena that night, of course, responded very positively to everything Oscar was doing. But let's take a moment to look back at something that happened in your corner between the 8th and 9th rounds, Pernell.